Hello, I'm Jeff, and welcome to Snap Talk, your podcast supplement. It was confirmed that the Nintendo Switch will not have the Virtual Console, and I'm okay with that. I know there are some people out there that would like to see it on the system, but to be honest, the Virtual Console has kind of outlived its usefulness, specifically on the Switch. When it first came out, it was a way to hype up the Nintendo Wii as saying, hey, we got all these classic games that are also on the Wii as well, and as a way to build up the library while game publishers kind of poo-pooed the lack of power on the system. Now, eventually they did put out games on the system as well because, I don't know, 100 million units sold is kind of hard to ignore. But when you looked at it on the Wii U, when only 15 million units were sold, it didn't really get a lot of support, neither from the major third parties or for the Virtual Console. I mean, only recently has the TurboGrafx had any sort of foothold in the system. It was pretty much just a couple of games, just bonk. And now it seems like the only games that are coming out on the Wii U right now are TurboGrafx games. And it seems like they're the only third-party system that seems to be re-releasing on Virtual Console for them. Sega completely skipped over them. SNK didn't even bother with the Neo Geo. Whoever owns the Commodore stuff didn't put them on there. And even with the NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and all that, they didn't get all the games that were on the Wii Virtual Console. I don't think Square Enix even supported the Wii U Virtual Console, so you couldn't carry over any of your purchases of Final Fantasy or Chrono Trigger or Secret of Mana. And I'm sure you're thinking, well, that was the Wii U. There weren't a lot of people that had the Wii U. The Switch has already passed sales of the Wii U. It should have a retro foothold, a retro footprint on the system. Guys, it already has the retro footprint on the system. I don't know if you've seen this, but almost every other week there's an arcade archive game that comes out thanks to Hamster Corporation. They're the guys that are porting all these games over to current gen systems. And not only are they working on third-party arcade games, they're also working on Nintendo's arcade games as well. They're the ones who did the Switch development for Punch-Out! Versus Super Mario Bros., as well as the original Mario Bros. They're also the ones that are handling the Neo Geo re-releases. And then, of course, there's the Johnny Turbo's Arcade series that has been re-releasing some old Data East games. And that's just individual games. You look at the compilations that are either on or coming to the Switch, you have Mega Man Legacy 1 and 2, and that's going to be all the mainline games before 11 comes out later this year. You got Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Edition, which has all the Street Fighters from the original Street Fighter up to Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. You have Mega Man X Legacy coming in the summer this year. You have the Namco Museum that's already out, which, looking at it, I would only want two other games on that compilation, that being Miss Pac-Man and Xevious. And while there's the Neo Geo Arcade Archive series going on, you also have SNK coming out with the 40th Anniversary Collection, which will have a lot of their old arcade games and home console games like Crystalis, Athena, Alpha Warriors, Ikari Warriors, which will have both home and arcade versions, so you'll probably want to watch the Angry Video Game Nerd episode on that to give you a heads up on what to do. And Sega, just last month, announced the Sega Ages collection coming to the Switch. I don't know if that's going to be a singular thing or if that's going to just be the brand name for a bunch of individual re-releases. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but on the 3DS, while Nintendo only did a couple of 3D classics, Sega was the one that really took advantage of the 3D Classics brand, bringing out like 30 or 40 different games that were 3D enabled. So I kind of expect them to take advantage of something like this. And from the sounds of the early lineup for it, it seems like it's going to be a mixture of consoles in there. Like there's Alex Kidd and Miracle World from the Master System, as well as the first Phantasy Star, also from the Master System. Sonic the Hedgehog, Thunder Force 4 are all going to be on there. And one of the big producers at Sega is wanting to get Sega Saturn and Dreamcast games on there as well. I mean, if you know Sega's library, you know that is a ton of games. And apparently, Atari is going to have a compilation coming in December. That's another ton of games. And we haven't even gotten to the NES games that are going to come to those who purchase the Nintendo Switch Online service. I'm not saying this is perfect. I mean, there's a lot of games I would love to see. I would love to see Final Fantasy get re-released, whether it's the original versions in a trilogy, septilogy, or sextilogy pack, or if it's like a port of Final Fantasy Origins. I'd love to see the Secret of Mana trilogy get localized for the West. As much as I hate Konami, I'd love to see a Konami compilation or a Hudson Soft compilation. I'm sure Midway's going to have a compilation coming out soon. And I'd love to see a Koei Tecmo compilation. But ultimately, this is okay. It may not be as robust as the Wii Virtual Console, but it is growing. And I bet you by the time it's all said and done, this is going to be as robust, if not more so, than the Wii's Virtual Console. Now, there are arguments in favor of keeping the Virtual Console. The best I've heard came from YouTuber Arlo, who said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the money you would spend upgrading your games to the newer Virtual Console would be less than buying new or as part of a compilation. And yeah, $1 to upgrade Mega Man 1 would definitely be less than the $250 I would essentially be paying for it as part of the Legacy Collection. But I never bought Mega Man 2 through 6. So while I'm paying $1.50 more for Mega Man, I'm not exactly crying when I'm getting half off on the other 5 games. And even if the Switch had a Virtual Console, and all the games that were on the Wii but skipped the Wii U had a release on Switch, I doubt those games would come with an upgrade discount. Remember, the Wii discount was for games you had a purchase history for on the Wii Shop channel, assuming you transferred all that information over to your Wii U. Since neither the Wii or Wii U appear on the Switch, you'd have to rely on Nintendo accounts tracking eShop purchases. But because that came after the Wii, I doubt they would be able to keep track of Wii Shop buys. This current model may be for the best in the long run. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm okay with it for now. And if I end up being wrong, I'll come back and admit I was wrong. And that is it for this episode of Snap Talk. If you liked what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, and share with others. If you have a different opinion to what was stated, feel free to comment down below and we can talk about it. If you have an idea for another Snap Talk, leave a suggestion below, and if I feel I can get enough material together, I may talk about it in a future episode. I'm Jeff from Some Nerdy Arguments, and I'll talk to you soon.